So, dear guests of today's meeting, welcome. Today is Saturday, the 28th of September 2024, and today we're going to have a meeting, or better, presentation about the innovative technology in the transportation sphere, and we're going to talk about an innovative, unique method of funding such a large-scale project that I'm going to tell you about today. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Maxim. Isyp, my first name. I'm 38 years old, of which 10 years were dedicated to the project that I'm going to talk about today. And today we're going to talk about the crowdfunding model. It's an investment crowdfunding model that helps facilitate the development of innovations in the transportation sphere, an innovation that the humanity hasn't seen for several centuries. And I'm not just saying that, it's a fact. And you can agree with that or disagree. However, if something is white, it's white. And if something is black, it's black. And if the innovative technology was implemented thanks to the funding method that we're going to talk about today, it's a 100% fact. You can take it to the bank. Now let's have our roll call, and please tell me what country and region you are from today. I live in Odessa, Ukraine, and despite the fact that we are from different countries, nevertheless, the modern technologies, innovations help us be 1,000 kilometers apart, yet be able to communicate, to transfer information, both video and audio, in a couple of seconds. And a good example is, or proof, is the countries and cities that you're writing in the chat, which is France, India, Slavgorod, which is Russia. I know we have very often guests from Europe, from the Czech Republic, from the Baltic states. We have guests from the United States, Canada. So we are here literally from across the entire world. Nadezhda, for example, from far east, which is Novosibirsk. So we have quite a lot of people here from many different countries of the world. Those who know about the technology that we're going to talk about, people who supported technology and became co-owners, and often we have people who are here for the first time and hearing the information about our activities, about our project for the first time. And it is exactly for those people that we're having this meeting today. Today, we're not going to have a Q&A session. Please listen carefully. We're not going to cover the recent news. We do that on Thursday, once a week, or on a bi-weekly basis, once in a fortnight, and that's where I answer questions. And the last broadcast we had on the 26th of September, we have already published it on YouTube. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. We've covered quite a lot of interesting questions asked by our audience. So we can start. We're gonna spend 45 minutes tops. I think we will fit in. And then at 7 p.m. local time, we're going to call it a day. Now, for starters, in order for us to gradually move on to our main topic, I would like to ask you a question. Please tell me, what has changed our life drastically in the last 50 years? So let's not go far back into the past. So just tell me what kind of areas of life have changed and why they have changed, or better, thanks to what they have changed, and whether they have happened at all. I mean, probably some of you think that nothing had changed in our everyday life. So how significantly the life of a modern person has changed. So Nadezhda, said the internet, computers. Yes, indeed, the internet and the IT area changed our life drastically. So, and today's meeting is yet another proof to that, because as I told in the very beginning, we are in different geographic locations. However, thanks to the internet, thanks to the computers, today we are here live in a couple of seconds, able to deliver information across thousands and thousands of kilometers, which changed our life. Gregory said, thanks to the technical progress in different walks of life. Someone says digital and electronic money. Well, even if you take the technological progress, it did affect the speed of machine and scale of machine building. A lot of car manufacturers, probably most of the car manufacturers, are using robotic systems that are engaged from the very beginning of the assembly line. They put the cars together, add components with almost no human involvement. And all of it, again, thanks to the information technologies, because all of it is computerized. So you have CPUs, robots that paint cars, that install all the internal parts, different communication systems, and everything else, like components and units inside the car. All of it is automated. Take another example. For example, logistics, the delivery of parcels and goods. There are huge international platforms such as Amazon, AliExpress. Everything is computerized, automated there. Deliveries are made using drones. So Alexander wrote as well that there are delivery robots, and everything is now part of our everyday life. And 15, 20 years ago, it seemed something unreal, something out of science fiction. And many films that were shot 20, 30 years ago about the future actually hit the nail on the head. That's what we're seeing right now today. So innovations indeed change strongly every day's modern person's life. They provide comfort mostly. They make our tasks easier. For example, such innovation as an aircraft allowed human beings to cover thousands of kilometers long distances in literally a couple of hours. And it helped people expand the horizons and the geography of their traveling, address business issues, delivery of goods, logistics. So the aviation industry has affected the life of a contemporary human being quite a lot. And although that industry is not that old, I mean, compared to the entire human history, and this is just one walk of life, like transportation. We're talking about IT technology. We have here a very important area of life, which is finance, which also went through innovations and changes. 20, 30, 40 years ago, we used only fiat money, paper money. And 100 years ago, people used like metal coins. Sometimes it's gold, silver, and other precious metals. And gradually, innovations were implemented, introduced, and certain evolution happened in this area. And now we are at a point when we can transfer money in a couple of seconds to any point in the world using electronic transfers. And 12, 15 years ago, digital money was introduced, which is not a big novelty. I'm talking about cryptocurrency, which is used to make mutual settlements, payments, to conduct business, and basically the financial area also thanks to innovations, is becoming more mobile, quicker, and more convenient for the user. However, friends, all of those innovations that I've mentioned, in particular, I'm talking about car industry, about the railroad industry, all those innovations, friends, were introduced like 100, 150 years ago when they were first invented, when the Wright brothers planes were built, when the first car was invented and upscaled by Henry Ford. So the transportation sector hasn't changed that much, or better, the innovations in those areas were nowhere to be seen in the last 100 years, because when the car was invented first, it was a box on a house, a body on a four wheels with the internal combustion engine. And now that's the car that we see cruising along different roads and highways in the world. The only thing that happened is that cars became modernized, upgraded, but no actual innovations were made. Those cars became more comfortable, safer. Railroad also became, or railroad trips became more comfortable. Now you can use the internet there. The conditions are more comfortable in the developed countries. In the developing countries, well, railroad still leaves a lot to be desired. In the CIS countries, for example, railroad is a kind of a problematic area because rolling stock is not getting updated, and they use old cars, railroad cars. As for the railroad, I was very surprised by one fact, because I remember that the weight of one car is around 68 tons, or 62, 68 tons per car. Somewhere 60 plus. It's a quite hefty thing that weighs quite a lot in terms of metric tons. And what I was surprised with is that 68 tons of the car, railroad car, transports only 3-4 tons of cargo. If we're talking about passenger transportation, let's take an average car, like sleeping car. It can host how much? How many people? Like around 40 people, right? 40 places. Like a standard sleeper, we have like 8 to 10 compartments, 4 places each, if we go for a premium segment, but it doesn't matter really. So if we take a class B sleeping car, it's probably up to 80 places, sleeping beds. So let's say an average passenger weighs 100 kilos, like really hefty people. So it's what, 4 tons, 6 tons. If it's 20 places, it's like in a class A business class sleeper, it's 2 tons only. No, well, and a couple of conductors, right? So we have a car that weighs 68 tons, transporting just 3 to 4 tons of cargo. Well, even if it's humans, it's still like technically, it's still cargo, right? In terms of transportation. So the efficiency, the efficiency rate of such transportation is almost zero. Imagine a car that weighs 68 tons and you have like a dozen such cars in a train, and then the driver that pulls all that behind is actually carrying quite a small number of passengers, relatively a small amount of cargo. So the efficiency is very small here. In other words, the power and resource consumption to transport this few people on such a huge, weighty machine, so the efficiency is very small. So talking about innovations, nothing has changed in that area. Even high-speed trains that are now moving on magnetic cushions in Japan and China and a couple of other countries. They have such cars, trains, sorry. So basically, all of it cannot be called innovations. It's all more modernization. It cannot be called innovation, really. So what I'm driving here at is that in many spheres, innovations did happen, like in the IT, in the financial sector. However, in the transportation sector, we haven't seen any innovations in the last 100 years. So basically, it's quite logical that in our contemporary world, in the 21st century, such innovation is long overdue. So basically, it should have appeared. So what we have is, if we're talking about the innovations in the sphere of transportation, it should have happened long ago, and it should be drastically different from what the world already knows. That's the innovation is all about. So innovations is something new, not seen before or created before. And the world has now seen such innovation. 10 years ago, it happened when the idea was published, authored by Dr. Anatoly Unitsky, who in 2014 expressed it on the internet by addressing people on YouTube channel, addressing people who are not indifferent about their future, and where he showcased his development, his prototype, an idea that is engineeringly viable, has all the engineering calculations in place, and he said that I'm ready to offer the world an innovation in the transportation sector that would allow people to move within the city, outside the city, using quite few resources at high speeds and spending way less time to get from point A to point B. Because our contemporary society, because we are in the experiencing technological progress, now facing difficulties with being mobile in our contemporary world. And that criterion is the main criterion for such innovation to be born in the transportation area, because the contemporary society demands mobility, speed, the possibility to address quickly logistical issues, both in terms of transportation of people and cargoes. Why is it important? Because our contemporary world, with all the people in it, are accustomed to quickly transferring information. If they want to make a call to a different country, they can. If they want to send a message instead of writing a message or letter on paper, now we can call a person on our smartphone and connect to them in a couple of seconds. Whereas to move from point A to point B, even in the city where we live, is quite difficult. Why? Because the car industry has developed to such a degree where the infrastructure of a city does not cope with such number of cars and does not have enough capacity, especially in multi-million population cities. Many of you who live in such cities probably already felt it or experienced it when you spend several hours a day just to get to your job or take your kids to the school or go somewhere on a weekend outside the countryside or even go shopping. Very often we spend hours doing that every single day. And then if you multiply those hours by number of months and then years, then we can see that people spend quite a lot of time in traffic jams, like a couple of months per year. And this is frightening, because we have just one life and time flies by, and it is a pity we have to spend it on the road, in the car. So in 2014, Dr. Unitsky presented his technology that we're going to talk about today. He presented a solution to our contemporary society to offer them an innovation in the transportation sector that will address that problem that I just have told you about. So another important thing here is that we're living in a period of time when the contemporary technocratic development of our community affects the environment quite significantly. Basically, we pollute our planet, and we're polluting our planet, and car industry contributes greatly to the overall pollution because the exhausts produced by that industry affects the environment quite a lot. And in the last couple of years, we have felt that damage inflicted on nature. So probably you have watched the recent news that it was snowing in Africa, and in countries that usually were warm are now cold. And this year is considered to be the warmest year throughout the entire human history. In my city, in the shadow, the temperature reached 46 degrees in the shadows. Under the sun, direct sun, it was like 50 plus easily. You could literally fry eggs on the asphalt. And I'm not exaggerating. A lot of bloggers with their own social media channels made such experiments. And we kind of surprised with that. We're smiling at that can make make fried eggs on the asphalt. But it's not that funny because for this particular area zone, such a climate is an anomaly, and it is caused by the climatic change. And one of the reasons for such climatic change is cars, among other things. So the technology that I'm going to talk about today actually addresses those issues. It helps people move quickly, safely, and in an environmentally friendly way over long distances at high speeds without harming the environment. So what kind of technology I'm talking about here? Why is it an innovation? We can take a look at it together. We have a presentational video of the technology itself. We are going to watch it together, and then after that, we will, dear friends, move to discussing thanks to what this technology was implemented in the way that you can see it, in the form that you can see it now, and what kind of opportunities participation in this large-scale project gives us to every person who joins this project. Now, friends, I will start sharing my screen, which will have a video about the technology that I indirectly already told you about today. Business success depends on how effective are the solutions offered by a company. This formula became the starting point when in 2015 we turned the first page of the Unitsky string technologies. To create optimal transport, the best of all things possible. We've been working towards it for many years, set ourselves only the highest bars, wanting to give our customers the perfect tool to achieve their goals. Today, we're ready for any task. The path traversed by Unitsky string technologies is an experience of difficult victories that have tempered our team. Today, the company has more than 60 design bureaus and 9-story office building, and more than 1,000 specialists. Our profession is a development, design, and operation of UST complexes. There are schools in engineering and construction of transport and infrastructure. The company has the full set of confirmed competencies and it has an accredited scientific organization. constant development, high standards, and the most modern technical equipment. This is the style we adhere to. In order to guarantee the best quality, we strive to monitor our developments from the first sketch to implementation. Our production center is a part of the single chain of creativity, design, component manufacturing, final assembly, and testing. 200 workshops, 20 workshops, 4,000 square meters, and more than 200 professionals, high-precision machines with the numerical control, the ability to quickly reconfigure and optimize production of the most complex elements in the shortest time possible. We independently manufacture motor wheels, bodies, and the frames of our U-pods, automation and safety systems, energy storage, and electric motor. To achieve the result, we have built several special certification complexes, different types of roads and different models of transport, 2 types of climatic conditions, about 60 hectares of tests and demonstrations areas in Belarus and the United Arab Emirates, our own laboratories, energy infrastructure facilities, service centers, control rooms, automated control systems. At these sites, we carefully test our solutions to ensure their effectiveness, reliability, control, and safety. All UST solutions are designed, manufactured, and operated in accordance with the international standards. As proof of that, in 2021, we, for the first time, received a certificate of conformity from Southwest, the world's leading organization in the field of safety and quality. Not stopping there, Unitsky String Technologies Incorporated is constantly improving its products. We know that business success depends on the effectiveness of the proposed solutions, based on the best that came before us. Without trying to imitate anyone who is nearby, we're creating the optimal transport complexes, as best as they can be. So, dear friends, right now you've seen what this innovation in the transportation sector is about. Thanks to that video, you saw for yourselves that it is an environmentally friendly transportation means because it is powered by alternative sources of energy, in this case electricity, and most interestingly, this type of transportation can fit into any existing infrastructure of any city, any region. And thanks to that technology, you can literally cover any kind of elevations because of its technical peculiarities. You can literally adjust the supports in order to cover any kind of valleys and hills and mountains elevations. So thanks to the innovative solutions, you can have the distance between different supports from hundreds of meters to thousands of meters, which allows to not sacrifice a lot of land. Better, let me put it this way. It takes just a couple of square meters to build one support. And if you take any kind of transportation that visually looks like what you've just seen, like a monorail, where in the United Arab Emirates, it's quite used, this technology. So you will see that it's huge concrete structures that take a lot of space, and the track infrastructure itself is also positioned on such concrete pillars that requires a lot of investments. And this technology in technological, environmental, financial, economical, safety terms surpasses any type of transportation, like car transportation, railroad, urban passenger transportation like trolleys and trams. So this is a truly innovative technology, and it can be called a sixth or a seventh type of transportation, because we know the car transportation, aviation, railway, sea, underwater, and space. So basically, I've counted six. Probably I must have like missed something, but the logic is there. So, and if I haven't forgotten anything, that the string transportation technology can be called a seventh type of transportation that wasn't there before. Well, pipelines, Alexander says. Well, I agree, but it's more about moving cargoes rather than people. But yeah, I agree with you. Thank you. Because pipelines indeed moves around like liquid or liquidified cargoes, like goods, like oil and gas, or basically even a sewage pipeline system also kind of transports waste. So string transportation technology is a new type of transportation. So a lot of you might ask, it begs the question, thanks to what this technology was implemented? Because any innovation, as you know, requires a lot of investments, injection of funds in order to be implemented and go into the market. So let me give you, for example, such an innovation in the area as IT, as Apple. Steve Jobs created the first home computer, and it happened in late 70s, early 80s, when the first home computer was created, and then the company could start selling this product around the world. And because that company was a pioneer in that area, this company is now one of the most expensive companies in the world. Why was it possible? Because this company was funded, or first investments were injected into this company. The first line of production was created, and then those computers started selling because they were produced thanks to the created production line. Logical. So thanks to investments, any investment becomes available to people. And as you can see, the company that we are talking about right now, which is the engineering company called String Technologies Inc., has in its assets quite a huge financial resource. And it is represented by two R&D centers, one in Eastern Europe and another one in the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, and all of it required quite a lot of financial injections. And who financed this innovation? And here, dear friends, we have yet another innovation. And this innovation is called crowdfunding. Why I call it an innovation? Because thanks to such model of funding and investment, not a single technology in the world was created. A technology that is sector forming technology, except this one. And crowdfunding, what does it mean actually? Well, we have this saying, a muckle makes a mickle, something like that. So basically, what it means is that if a person needs to do something big, he might not have enough money to do that something big. But if someone chips in just a little, then that project can be implemented. And in 2014, Dr. Unitsky, thanks to the internet, addressed people with a call to help implement this technology. But in order to do that, quite a significant amount of money was required. So what did Dr. Unitsky do in order to implement that technology, to bring it into life? Because the technology goes back to 1970s or 60s. And by the time of 2014, Dr. Unitsky accumulated a lot of patents, part of his intellectual property in the area of string transportation technology, and then that intellectual property was evaluated. And then a company was created to launch this technology. And that company was based on the evaluation of that intellectual property. So in 2014, the crowdfunding property was launched when people were offered to become potential investors and co-owners in the intellectual property of that technology. And in exchange of their funds that were invested through the investment crowdfunding, people started receiving pre-IPO shares of the company that had been created. And the company had been founded according to the British law on the British Virgin Islands. And this jurisdiction is one of the strongest jurisdictions in terms of the protection of the copyright. So British law is quite solid in that regard. And since 2014, the funding of this technology started using the crowdfunding model. And back then, a document was developed, which was called 15 Stages of the Development of the String Transportation Technology. And right now, we have confidently passed through 14 stages of those 15 stages. And at each stage, the company offered different discounts to purchase pre-IPO shares, PIPEs, in the company who owns the intellectual property. Discount, it's let's say it's the ratio of money invested against the number of pre-IPO shares received. So back in 2014, investors faced quite a lot of risks because back then the technology was just like a pile of blueprints, designs, that's it. And there were quite a lot of risks because nobody knew if that project would take off, if Dr. Unitsky would cope, whether this technology would become viable or not. And back then, in 2014, 2015, 2016, the discounts were very high, up to 500, 1,000 to 1. What does a 1,000 discount mean? It means that it's your return on investment. So if you invest $1,000 in the technology, you would receive pre-IPO shares at 1,000 discount. So basically, it's 1,000 multiplied by 1,000. So you get like 1 million pre-IPO shares for $1,000 would have gotten. And with every stage, the discount decreased because the risks with every stage reduced as well. And stages had followed quite a simple algorithm. So for at each stage, the company had to raise certain amount of money. And then using that money, the company was supposed to carry out certain engineering works, scope of works, like design of rolling stock, track infrastructure, certification, etc. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10 passed, and the discounts became smaller and smaller. And this way, with every stage, the risks were getting smaller as well, which gave the investors into the string transportation technology more confidence that this technology would be eventually capitalized. And that's what happened. Now you can see that this is a huge company with 1,000 specialists and engineers, with dozens of design bureaus, with thousands of square meters of production facilities and office premises and equipment, machinery that the company is using to produce independently a lot of components and units for its own technology. So if we make a summary of what I've just said, we can see that the modern world is dictating the demand for innovation in transportation. And that innovation appeared around 10 years ago. And that technology was even funded in an innovative way through the investment crowdfunding model, and hundreds of thousands of people participated in it from dozens of countries, or better, from more than 100 countries. From practically, there is an investor from almost any country of the world. I don't think there is a single country in the world that wouldn't have an investor in the string transportation technology. So basically, it is an international project that was supported by people from across the world. And over those 10 years, someone invested just $10, someone invested $100, and someone even invested $100,000. There have been such investors as well. So, dear friends, where we are at right now, at what stage of development this technology is. So, out of what was declared, 85% was already implemented. And the company now is at a point when they have two ready commercial products, which is urban passenger and cargo transportation, which was showcased in the video that I showed to you today. Right now, the company has an ambitious task, which is to create a third type of transportation, a third commercial product, which is a high-speed transportation, where Dr. Initsky, together with his engineering team, will show the speed of the rolling stock at 500 kilometers per hour, which will be intercity track, or better, transportation and logistics complex. So it will be used in intercity or even interstate transportation to connect cities together, to move fast in a safe way from point A to point B, consuming way less time and resources, which is a very important stage in the company's development. Why? Because the third type of transportation is the most investment intensive project transportation. In order to show this technology, its efficiency, it is not just enough to build 1, 2, 3 kilometer stretch, but entire 25 kilometers, because if you need to speed up the rolling stock up to 500 kilometers, first you need to accelerate. You need enough track to accelerate, then go for a couple of kilometers, and then slow down. And to do that, you need a minimum of 25 kilometers of tracks, continuous tracks. And this particular project is scheduled for development in the United States of America. And the company announced it in their news, and also an interview between Dr. Initsky and the head of the company in the United States was made. So basically, it's an interview with the company that is part of the group of companies of Unitsky. And so what kind of opportunities it opens up for people who are hearing this information? Well, first of all, you now have an opportunity to be part of an innovation that is going to change the future of humanity. And it's going to change a lot of spheres of our life if we are able to move within the city and outside the city using an environmentally friendly and safe type of transportation. It's going to change our lives for just one simple reason. Whereas previously, you traveled from point A to point B at a speed of 120, 150 kilometers per hour and spent 5 hours doing that. For example, and if you can do that at 500 kilometers per hour, you will spend just 1 hour, for example. And if you live in a big metropolitan city and you spend 2-3 hours in a traffic jam, and if you have this project implemented in your city, then it will take you 20-30 minutes per day to get to your job and back home. So in order for that to be implemented and keep being brought into life, we have an opportunity to support this technology using our investments, using the investment crowdfunding model. And this model is offered by the RSW Systems platform. And this is a platform that is making this presentation right now. And all of you have the opportunity to sign up at the website. It's called RSW Systems. It bears the same name. Our platform is 11 years old already, and we're quite successfully developing in the field, conducting our operations. So in your back office, you have a choice of investment packages. I'm going to show those packages to you, what they look like, and what kind of discounts you can enjoy today. So we have standard purchases, and you can purchase in installments, because investment packages have different prices. So you can pay from $500 to $50,000 depending on the package. And each of those packages can be purchased in installments as well. For example, if we take, well, for the ease of calculation, let's take the $1,000 investment and split it into 10 months. You pay $100 per month, and you will get 23,000 pre-IPO shares, PIPEs, and with a discount of 23. And this is what I mentioned a few moments ago. Remember, there were times where discounts were 100, 500, even 1,000. So you see how smaller the risks got, that the company offers a discount of 23. And many people might ask, maybe we're too late. Maybe we should have invested way before because the discounts are smaller. But let me contradict you, or better, let me give you a counter argument. Because the discount is 23, or better, you will get 23,000 PIPEs, pre-IPO shares. It means that this is how much you might get in dollars by investing $1,000. So basically, it's a 2,300% return on your investments, which is quite big. And why I'm saying this, because the evaluation of the Dr. Yunitsky's intellectual property, once capitalized and going into the market, is evaluated at $400 billion. So one pre-IPO share will be around $1 per share. So when those pre-IPO shares become securities, PIPEs, or shares, they will cost $23,000. So the expected nominal price, or the market price of one share, is $1. So multiply $1 by 23,000, you can get $23,000 on $1,000 investment. If you go for a bigger package, $2,000, $5,000, then you will get a higher discount, 24, 29, up to the current market discount available at this stage of development, which is 40. So just tell me, if we do not go even too far, 3, 5, 10 years, do you think 2,300% return or your investment is a good return? when you can just invest $100 per month or $200 a month or $500 a month. Do you think it's an attractive investment opportunity? Just give me your feedback in the chat. For comparison, you can take a look at the recent investment skyrocketing in crypto, like booms. For example, X2, X3, X5 is already considered 2x, 3x, 5x, which is 500% return, is quite a lot. And if you take $1,000 package and then you multiply it by 2,300%, you kind of get $23,000, which is a huge return. So this is a reply to a question whether it's too late or not, whether it's still profitable or not. I think the answer is self-apparent here. It's quite a still huge return on investment, quite a huge prospect. So why we are facing fewer risks now? Just take notice. The company right now already has a lot of orders and pre-orders for its products. There is a YouTube channel. It's called String Technologies, Unitsky String Technologies. It gives the news about the development of the technology itself, and that YouTube channel has a playlist about the commercial projects of the company, where a team consisting of the top management, sales management, represented by the directors of the companies in the United Arab Emirates, the deputy general director in Belarus, String Technologies Inc. Tell people, the audience, how the commercial projects are being developed and introduced. And there is a whole series of videos, I think like 7 of them or 8, about what kind of projects are right now in the pipeline, how much time they take, and so on and so forth. So after watching those videos, you will realize that the risks right now are much smaller compared to me when I invested back in 2014, or to people who invested 5-7 years ago, because right now the company is on the verge of going public. So if you invest into the technology, even using the discounts of today, you will have to wait way less compared to me, who had invested back in 2014. You feel the difference between this much and that much, right? So I'm kind of showing it to you on my fingers. So basically, I recommend all of you do your due diligence, explore the investment packages, take a better look at the experience and activities of Dr. Unitsky. I suggest you subscribe to his YouTube channel. Please don't mind my black button here that I'm not subscribed. I haven't logged into my account. That's why it says I'm not subscribed, but be sure I am. I'm subscribed. I follow all the news by Dr. Unitsky and his company. So the first thing I recommend you watch is watch the company's report for 2023, results of the UST Inc.'s work. It's a very informative video about what the company had achieved in the previous year, which is the result of the 10 years of work of the company. Next, friends, make sure to watch the movie to know what path was percoursed by Dr. Unitsky as an innovator, as an engineer throughout 40 years of his engineering activities, which is called Follow Your Star. And the third thing that I recommend you watch, a film that was published literally 2 weeks ago. It's a film dedicated to the Eco World fundamental program. It's about the planet Earth that covers literally all walks of life, starting from transportation, agricultural sector, to eventually relocating all the harmful production that we have on the planet Earth to the orbit, to near space. So you see, behind me, what you see is part of that technology, the rocket-free space exploration, where you bring all the harmful production outside the planet. So like mineral extraction or production, processing of chemicals, like chemical industry that we have now on the surface of our planet, can be moved up there, you see? And all of it can be relocated over there. And there is a technology for that. Dr. Unitsky developed it, and there was a conference dedicated to this topic held 2 weeks ago. It was a seventh conference, which was attended by high-ranking officials. There was a Minister of Road Transport and Highways of India, PhDs in technical sciences, doctors of technical sciences, representatives of business, and basically quite a serious community, which starts looking differently at the engineering solutions offered by Dr. Unitsky that previously seemed non-feasible, unrealistic to people. Now it's all viable. And also, I suggest you watch the conversation between Dr. Unitsky and the director of USky Tech in the United States, where they show the roadmap for the company's development in this country, what kind of plans they have. And, dear friends, I suggest you sign up, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, I don't have the tab for it right now here, but we have our main website, rsw-systems.com, where you can subscribe to our Telegram channel right away, where we cover all the recent news, and also you can register. You click on join the project, and then you register on the website, and then you can read all the investment projects, PIPE offers, pre-IPO shares offers, and so on. As for the social media, in here, you have an icon for the YouTube channel. You click on it, and you are redirected to our YouTube platform where we publish all of our broadcasts, meetings, RSW Systems official channel. You subscribe to it, and you can see my Q&A session, the recordings of my Q&A sessions, and my presentations like the one we're having right now. And at our Q&A session, I give like a detailed overview of our entire project and activities. So to sum up our today's meeting, we've explored the innovations in the area of transportation, i.e. the technology called UST, Unitsky String Transportation, which addresses the contemporary society's problems such as environment protection, conservation, safety, mobility, cost efficiency, because compared to other types of transportation, it is the cheapest and most accessible, available, affordable type of transportation, both in terms of technological solutions and the cost of the tickets to ride, if you want to use it to move from different points to different points in your city. Also, we learned about the model to fund this technology, and I'm not afraid to say that we're the first to fund such a huge sector-forming project using investment crowdfunding. There is not a single similar model that would have funded something as big as this anywhere else. It's a fact. You can agree, you can disagree, it doesn't matter. That's a fact. And also, I suggest you do not miss out on this opportunity. Follow the news, the offers that are made by our platform and have been made and still will be made. Very soon, we're going to have a special promotion for our active partners and clients where, while preparing for the transition to the rebranded website, and we're doing the rebranding right now, there is an interview with my participation dedicated to this topic less than a year ago. You can find it on our YouTube channel. I give a detailed description while we're doing the rebranding, what kind of premises have we have for that. And in my last broadcast, as of the 26th of September, I mentioned there what kind of events will happen in the future related to rebranding and what we have in store for our active clients and partners of our platform. So, dear friends, thank you very much for giving your time. Thank you for familiarizing with this information. I hope it was useful to you. Those who heard it not for the first time, you just solidified your knowledge. And if you heard and seen that presentation for the first time, I hope it was not a waste of time. And I hope you learned something new, something useful. And most importantly, I hope you saw the opportunity for you to increase your portfolio, your assets, that you've recognized the investment opportunity that in the near future can really change your life for the better. And to participate in such a innovative large-scale project who can yield better return than Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon all taken together. And why I'm saying this is because this technology is a sector-forming technology, and it has a way bigger scale than IT, finance, because we're talking about a huge infrastructural technology that affects all the technologies above, like IT, finance, and infrastructure, and way more than you can even imagine. Thank you very much for your time, dear friends. And if you have questions, I will try and answer them. I saw a question, just give me a second, I will have it translated. And then if it's on the topic of our today's meeting, I will answer. How much share do we need to have in minimum, according to your opinion, Lal? Well, thank you very much for your question. It's not about the number of shares, or it's rather about your investment capabilities. Right now, you don't have to invest all of your money. This is A. B, you need to invest into that project 5 to 10% of your investment capital. But take into account that this technology is not a startup anymore. It's not a venture capital project anymore. It's a more guaranteed project. Then you can allocate up to 20% of your investment capital for it. It will be a sound investment decision. So if you take your investment portfolio, which has guaranteed assets like bonds, some blue chips, privileged securities, insurance programs, then to allocate up to 20% into that project as one that will yield you a huge return in the next 5 to 10 years will be a wise decision. Why? Because we've already passed the point where the risks were big, because this technology, A, is certified, B, has already 2 ready commercial products, and already the company has dozens of orders for which it already is receiving money. D, or Yes, D, it already received its achieved its break-even point, and E, it plans to start receiving profits, and according to its plans, in the 2025, 2026, it will start sharing profits proportionate to how many pre-IPO shares you have. And then you have to calculate yourself how many shares you would like, or pre-IPO shares you would like to have. How many investors all over the world in this project? We have a question from Surav. Well, right now, I think more than 300,000 people for sure who funded this technology in this way or another. But if we take all of the investors in all the forms, then it's 500,000 for sure. I think, yeah, somewhere around 500,000. I don't have the exact number, but it's like dozens and dozens of crow. So Verica is asked a question. Is asking how many millions have been invested so far. I think that is not confidential because it should have been written in audit. Well, the company shows money spent in its audit, and the audit is done for the engineering company only, but the entire group of company consists of many, many different companies, not only engineering companies, with their own revenues and expenditures. But to give you a ballpark estimate, it's several $100 million. So the authorized capital of the String Transportation Inc. is more than $100 million of live money invested by investors. And that money was used to implement everything you've seen in Eastern Europe and the United Arab Emirates. It's quite transparent and open. The company is not really hiding its financials and financial reports. Everything is done according to law and within the taxation legislation of the jurisdiction where the company is operating. Yeah, more than 100 million for sure. Yeah, several 100 million. Because, well, for you to understand, in order to just create one model of a car, the car manufacturer spends like hundreds of millions of dollars, 3 to 8 years to just develop one model of a car. And here we're talking about creating a new type of transportation altogether that wasn't there before, and innovation. So of course, $10 million is not enough. 100 million is already, yeah. And Dr. Unitsky is such a genius, unique person who was able to use that several $100 million invested into the technology to show much more than we even expected in the very beginning. We expected just 3-4 types of rolling stocks and a couple of tracks. Now we have even 6 to 8 types of tracks to showcase string transportation technology, and up to 20 different rolling stocks with different characteristics, lightweight, more capacity, less capacity, from 2-seat to 40-seat cars, like you've seen in the presentation video. And Dr. Unitsky was able to optimize that money to deliver more than planned. And I would like to emphasize here that we were underfunded. We experienced a lack of funding at every single stage. And the amounts that I'm naming just now also include the money that was allocated for the marketing purposes in order for the crowdfunding to move forward. Because without the affiliate program and marketing costs, it wouldn't be able to achieve. Because for our clients, the biggest motivation is the partner's remuneration fee they receive for promotion. So it is very important to understand that the amount of money incoming is not 100% invested into the implementation of the technology, because at least 30-40% are costs, marketing costs, and that budget is hefty. And you need to understand that Dr. Unitsky assumes responsibilities for the funds and to deliver double what he actually receives in terms of money. So we need to take this into account as well. So please be understanding about it. So if we didn't allocate any money for marketing, then we wouldn't be able to achieve the results that we have today. So, okay, all the questions related to the development of our technology, platform, all the financial questions should be asked during our Thursday meetings. Next Thursday, we're going to have another Q&A session. I will answer all of your questions. You please prepare those questions, write them down, and then you can ask them live, and I will answer them, okay? So thank you very much, dear friends. I'm really glad that we had a very lively meeting today, that we were able to work in such a format. Hopefully, my presentation turned out to be useful to you. I suggest you sign up for all the channels that I told you about. First and foremost, the YouTube and social media of Dr. Unitsky, his engineering company, to familiarize with the engineering activities and for you to understand what kind of technology you're about to join and what kind of technology you will be potentially supporting with your money and who is behind that technology, a person who is truly a genius of today. Thank you very much again for your time and attention, and we will discuss all the questions next Thursday. That will happen in 6 days. It's going to be on the 3rd of October. So yes, in October, we're going to start working in a completely new format, preparing for the transition to our new updated, rebranded website. And I'm going to show it to our clients in the very near future, but it's going to happen in October. As for today, I wish you all a pleasant evening. Do not miss out on the opportunity of becoming an investor into the string transportation technology in September. Expand your portfolio, because discounts with every substage will be smaller and smaller. And those investment opportunities will fly away. And to prevent that, make use of the opportunity that I've told you about. Again, have a nice evening. See you on Thursday on the 3rd of October. Bye-bye.